Why didn't the Carthaginian navy play a bigger factor during the Second Punic War? Hi, my name is Joel Mark Harris and I am the author to The Ivory General, which is a historical fiction book that's set during the Second Punic War. And I'm going to talk about why Carthaginian navy wasn't a huge factor in that war. And there's primarily two reasons for that. The first one was that Carthaginians, who are well known for their navy, for their merchants, and for their sea trade, they had a huge navy. They were very adept at sea battles, but unfortunately during the First Punic War, the Romans beat them at their own game. While the Carthaginians started initially with a larger navy, the Romans built up their own navy during the span of that war, and what had happened was a Carthaginian naval boat had actually washed up ashore. The Romans were able to capture it, they were able to dissect the boat and rebuild it, basically copy it into their own naval forces, and made them even more powerful and a superior force on the sea. When the Second Punic War rolled around, what had happened was the Romans had defeated the Carthaginians in the First Punic War. The Carthaginians were forced to sign a treaty that limited their naval ships. Between the time of the First Punic War and the beginning of the Second, Romans really kept tabs on what type of ships the Carthaginians could build, and so the Carthaginians were really careful not to overstep demands of the Romans in the treaty. And so the second reason that navy wasn't a big factor in the Second Punic War is that the main driving force behind the fight was Hannibal, who's known as Hannibal Barca, and he was primarily a land general. He had fought on land. His father was a land general. His name was Hamilcar. Hamilcar basically taught Hannibal everything he knew, which was primarily how to fight on land. And so Hannibal invaded Rome. He was playing to his strengths, which was troops. Interesting thing was that was also Rome's strength. They've always been known as a land army, and they've always been very strong with their heavy infantry. What happened was that Hannibal beat them at their own game. There was a couple naval battles during the Second Punic War, but none were very significant in terms of outcome. So it's very interesting. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.